Good morning. Welcome to Joy News Desk. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. Coming up this morning, Supreme Court asked to find Speaker. Attorney General over the anti-LGBT bill. She contends her checks show that the Speaker of Parliament has been served with all relevant court processes, including one asking the court to place an injunction on Parliament's consideration of the law. It will be recalled that Parliament last week wrapped up the second reading of the bill, bringing it a step closer to the conclusion of processes on the controversial law.
There was fireworks in Parliament when MPs debated the report of the Constitutional Parliamentary and Legal Affairs Committee on the controversial anti-gay bill. It started off on a very cordial note that this controversial bill must be passed into law. We first heard from the MP who supported the bill.
The law, as we have it now, prescribes unnatural carnal knowledge without even adding anything. So there is nothing before us requesting of us to pass a law to allow that. So far, members all endorse this bill. And we are religiously going to support the bill to pass. I am speaking to the House and supporting the bill and also indicating the support of all our members because our membership as Ghanaians, all Ghanaians support this bill.
We then heard from the Speaker who threw a challenge to all MPs on the floor to stand up if they were against this anti-LGBTQ bill.
Opportunity to those who are against to speak. All members are in support of the bill.
Well, no one stood up. No one in Parliament stood up in opposition to the bill. It was then that we heard from former Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, who described the advocacy of LGBTQ as madness, and also the First Deputy Speaker, who said that the constitutional and the national life of Ghana does not support those activities.
It is very worrying that those who have been canvassing for this, for lack of better word, madness to be allowed to continue in our country are not averting to their minds to three things. And I will always say the first thing, regardless of which other human being you are, there's something you believe. Whatever you believe, whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a Buddhist, you are a pagan, you believe in something. What has your scripture said about this? They were threatening the lack of house winning, Sam George, and many of us who were speaking about visas to travel to their country. The Speaker, we have made them look as if going to their country is about life. The Speaker, if we were to do reciprocity, to do reciprocal of what they are doing, that they will not also be able to come into our country. Mr. Speaker, we will see those who suffer more.
Hi, this is Elton John here. Together with the Alliance for Lifetime Income, I'm spreading the word about the importance of protected income, which is money you're guaranteed to get. Protected income from an annuity helps ensure you have all your bases covered so you can have the financial freedom to tick off your bucket list. Meet with your financial advisor to ask if you have protected income and get their help making a plan that fits your unique financial goals. Go to protectedincome.org today.
My friend, the ranking member has quoted our constitutional duty to
the tenor of the last paragraph of the letter.
Among the relatives, including our family head and 3 other men, we were just 5 available in court. I'll plead with you journalists to continue following the case for us. People say this case won't go anywhere.
These
were the words of a disappointed relative of 27-year-old Victoria Dapa, also known as Majwa. The mother of one was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi of the Central Police Command in Kumasi. Victoria was shot 6 times on April 20, 2023. The accused person was last month committed to stand trial at the Kumasi High Court on murder charges slapped on him by the Attorney General. Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, also known as Tycoon, made his maiden appearance on Thursday before the Kumasi High Court, presided by Justice Rosemary Batusu. But the hopes of scores of relatives of the deceased to witness proceedings were dashed when sitting started earlier than anticipated. The court was, however, forced to adjourn because counsel for the accused, Ernest Aye, did not show up. This also means the plea of the accused could not be taken. The court's attempt to empanel a jury for the trial of the police inspector had to be put on hold. Some disappointed relatives continue to agitate for speedy adjudication to serve the deceased and her family with justice.
As a mother, I ask for justice for Majwa, who left behind a 3-year-old daughter. For the sake of this small girl, justice should prevail. This case is in the interest of all women. Justice served is justice for all women.
Meanwhile, hearing has been scheduled for July 26, 2023 at 12 noon. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Wahime reporting.
Let's now dive to Takoradi, where the Ghana Mining Expo 2023 is currently underway. Stakeholders are to discuss sustainable mineral resource development and the well-being of mining communities. The president is billed to address the gathering.
So, with all that has happened and the contribution of the Bank of Ghana, and I have the pleasure to invite the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, to share with us. Thank you.
The MC took me by complete surprise. I wasn't expecting to be called so early. But it's really great to be here. Mr. Chairman, I would like, Agabatu, I hope I don't mess your name up, Agabatu Wajan, the Paramount Chief of JIRA, Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Sam Dinapo, the Deputy Minister of Lands, the Honorable Miriku Duka, and my own old school friend, the Honorable Western Regional Minister of Napochri Daku Mensah, CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Mr. Antoine Milon, the CEO of Metalor, who I had the opportunity to have a brief meeting with yesterday. It is a great honor to be part of this important Ghana Gold Expo event today. Let me thank the Western Regional Coordinating Council, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and their respective partner organizations for the invitation to speak on the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchasing program as we celebrate this year's mining week. It really feels like coming back home to Takrady, as we know. The name Addison is synonymous with Takrady, for those of you who know. And I'm really happy to be here to see many old friends, including the MC, who's also a product of the school. I knew him very well in those days. Ladies and gentlemen, even though the gold standard ended at the turn of the 20th century, the importance of gold has not diminished. Gold has remained an important reserve asset and is still widely held by central banks across the world. Among others, the allure of gold as an important reserve asset for many central banks is due to its diversification benefits and its durability as a store of value and hedge against inflation, as well as its ability to act as a buffer against financial instability, particularly in a weakening global economic environment with high uncertainty outlook. Ghana has mined gold for over 3 centuries, and for the most part, the gold has been exported in doré form. Between 2018 to 2020, gold production constituted 7% of our GDP, employed about 200,000 workers, with the artisanal small-scale sector contributing about 37% of total gold production. In 2019, Ghana was cited as the largest producer of gold in Africa and the 6th largest in the world by the World Gold Council, and 70 tons of gold to back their reserves. Ghana's gold holdings at the central bank stood at 8.7 tons, as has been the case for central banks, for the bank before the Bank of Ghana commenced its domestic gold purchase program. We have thought about evaluating methods of increasing the country's reserves beyond the traditional sources, foreign direct investment portfolio, as usual, as well as the traditional proceeds from the cocoa and mining sectors. The decision was taken at that time to increase our gold reserves by purchasing domestic gold reserves using our own local currency, the cedi. Based on this, the bank developed the responsible gold sourcing supply chain, for the program is transparent and traceable and also meets the sustainability and best practice requirements. The bank also engaged an independent assessor to conduct due diligence on prospective suppliers of doré gold. Key stakeholders in the gold value chain, including the Minerals Commission of Ghana, the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines, will all engage to ensure that the planned purchases did not conflict with mines' pre-existing sales contracts and commitments. In June 2021, the bank formally launched the domestic gold purchasing program and started converting a domestic asset into a foreign asset through the purchase of locally produced gold. The key objectives of the program included increasing our FX reserves, diversifying the reserves portfolio, fostering confidence in our economy, and then leveraging our gold holdings to raise cheaper sources of financing to provide short-term foreign exchange liquidity. The bank's DGPP goes through properly structured steps in turning non-monetary gold into monetary gold. To begin with, gold is sourced from 3 channels, namely the mining firms, the aggregators, and the PMMC. The first 2 purchasing channels, that is the mines, are foreign exchange reserves of the gold for oil program. Through the mining firms channel, the bank engages the domestic mining firms in collaboration with the Ghana Chamber of Mines to buy pre-agreed quantities of refined gold at their LBMA certified refineries. Under the aggregator supportive of the bank, together
if they have reported to you that they have paid all financial cleanup exercise victims, you have been misled, you have been misinformed. Here we are, customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. We are over 55,000 members, customers. We haven't received our payment. So, Mr. President, do the needful.
Right, so there is some concerns with respect to this particular group here. Now, let me talk to or engage some of the aggrieved customers here. I have Mr. Charles here, who is also an aggrieved customer. Mr. Charles, just help me understand this. How much did you invest in this? All this while, have you been trying to reach out to SEC, the finance ministry, any staff within in government and all that? Is there any attempt to do that?
Yes, please. Good afternoon to my viewers. I cannot actually disclose how much has been there, but it's been a lot. Yes, we've tried all our best. We've done demonstrations, but nothing good is coming out. We've done a lot, and as at now, we have to depend on our friends to survive, which of course shouldn't be, because we plan very well in our life. What is investment? Investment is to take care of you and to take care of your family and extended family. So somebody